We're ready to play tabletop, guys! Finally! Because my computer, which was working perfectly fine, literally last night, was like, no, man, not today. Not today.
It's the weekend now.
It's the weekend. Computer wants to sleep in. Okay. Hi, everybody. Hello, Squirrel. It's been a little bit.
Hello. I'll have to get you a special banana.
Thank you, Freaky. So...
I will claim full responsibility for the technical difficulties. I'm the one that said something.
It was amazing. Like, as soon as I was like, okay, like almost 20 minutes ago now, as soon as I was like, okay, I'm going to push the button, and he goes, you mean the button that makes OBS crash? And as he says that, OBS crashes, and it leads me down this rabbit hole of updating drivers, rebooting computers, uninstalling programs, and here we are. So, yeah. Squirrel jinxed it.
Yep.
Freaky just subscribed and said it's hangover day. So apparently my computer's hungover. That must be what happened there.
I mean, it makes sense.
Oh, man. What a mess. But that's okay. Whew. Well, I think it's a time for a brief recap of Defy the Stars. If this is your first time in Defy the Stars, this is episode 8. You might get lost a little bit.
Where have you been?
Where have you been? That's a good question. Probably the same place my computer's willingness to work was. So, this is a tabletop RPG by Green Ronin. Green Ronin has very kindly allowed us to use art from their source books in our streams, as long as we give them a shout out. So if you type in !Expanse, you will get a link to the Expanse RPG stuff, the rules. There's a quick start for free. It's all really, really cool. This is also the official Green Ronin plugin / skin / whatever the heck they call it for Foundry, which is why we have these cool dice that you see in the corner. Yeah, good times. As for what we're doing, we are still on Tycho Station for the, I think, 5th episode now, which is how things go. And Chester, my character, went and got a cargo. June and Carter, Scarlet and Nab, went to go deal with the funny hat guy from Firefly. Alexander Mitchell, the funny hat guy from Firefly. And successfully did that because June is a terrifying lady. And then Thomas and Nigel, Candor and Final, poked the bear on the little computer thing that we have. Found out there was like a bunch of deployment, like ship deployments and very in-depth information on a lot of, I believe it was Martian and UNN ships that was a little bit more in-depth than what you would find on, like, say, Wikipedia, but not necessarily classified information, along with like potential deployment scenarios in case of war between the MCRN and the UNN, which is super fun. So they decided, let's go see if we can find a Martian ship to plug this thing into, or something like that. And it seems like a terrible idea, but terrible ideas in tabletop are always the best ideas. So, this should be a very entertaining episode. Have I missed anything? Does anyone else remember anything that I have glossed over that shouldn't have been?
I would like a little bit of a rundown of what was found on the computer in Operation Dust Class, because it took a while and
You didn't rewatch the VOD, Nabarine?
So, in short, we can't get into the main files. We turned it on into something called demonstration mode, and inside demonstration mode was a database of projected capabilities for pretty much every class of ship in the MCRN and UNN, as well as recommended deployments in case of various UNN moves around the system, and also sort of say analysis of which current deployments were unnecessary or inefficient, and which ships could go where, which ships needed more ships, and that kind of thing. But in terms of the main meat of what's in there, we don't know yet.
Thank you.
Thus, our reasoning on trying to go find a ship that might have some codes or things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was an error message saying missing required input or words to that effect.
I remember now.
Um,
Need input.
Yes. So our logic is that it needs some kind of authentication from the MCRN's network or something, or it has to phone home. A bit like Windows PC. It has to phone home before it'll actually work.
Which
Yeah.
is why you guys are out and about looking for an MCRN ship.
I don't
Yes.
think we're out and about yet. I think we just voiced the intention of let's see if there's an MCRN ship in dock, and then that's as far as we got.
Yeah, that's more accurate, I think. We were intending on going to find an MCRN ship to do something with, but
Something road, something good intentions.
something.
And you guys would have had enough of a look at the file structure of what it was looking for, that while it's probably trying to authenticate some information, it is also like actively looking for
Like scanning
Like,
data and stuff, right?
yes,
You said something about that
um,
last time.
yeah, that basically it wants to be connected to some sort of database to use the information to then provide whatever it is that Operation Dust Glass has been created to provide,
Yes.
if that makes sense. So
Okay. Well, I think we're all ready. So, I guess GM, take it away.
Yeah.
Whichever of us you want to start with.
kind of up to you guys. I think you've got stuff that's being moved back to the ship.
Depending on how long it's been, Chester's probably just now arriving at the ship. 'Cause
Yeah,
the ship that I can't remember the name of, it's probably in my notes. Let me open those. I should have those open.
It's the Constellation Drifter.
Constellation Drifter wasn't that far away from Good News.
No, and you didn't have the cargo that was being moved. Isn't there's not that much of it.
Yeah, it's like a single pallet. A little awkward, but a single pallet because Chester's like, I'm not paying for more than 2 hours of this because I spent a lot of money.
And I
Nice.
am rejecting Finals Banana Crunches.
Rejected.
Oh,
Rejected. I'll tell you what, Final. On the magical day that you and I actually meet, I will do some crunches right in front of you, and you can watch that.
okay, perfect. I'll record a video and post it on the internet for you.
Excellent.
Sounds great.
Oh, with the technical issues, did the recording get started as well as the stream?
It did. Thank you.
Okay.
I did start the recording as well as
Well,
the stream.
that floated across my head because that's the kind of thing I would also forget.
Never ever hesitate to remind me about that. By the way, never hesitate to remind me about that.
So yeah, I would say that you're just about getting back to the ship. Cycling through, bringing the cargo with you, getting into the cargo bay.
Okay, cool. I'm just, well, if it's me, Chester's just gonna, just come right in with this thing, and he's just gonna start, come through the. So I did have a question about the cargo bay. So the cargo bay, I'm assuming it also has like an airlock that's attached to it for loading cargo,
I would
because
expect so.
that's
'cause
what it
otherwise
looks
wouldn't
like.
make- Yeah, otherwise you wouldn't be able to get much. Like all you'd be able to get in there would have to fit up the ladder, and that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I'll put myself over here because we've already established we're docked on this side. So, so he's gonna just trundle in here and start stacking the cargo. And having been on ships quite a bit, he knows how to lock things down and make sure it's not gonna move around during 0G or maneuvers. So he's just gonna start packing it up. Then he is. Let's see. Did Carter know that June and Scarlet were off to go do the thing with the thing? To
What?
try
Yes,
try
he
and
did.
sell the. He did? Okay.
I would assume Carter would know what
Carter
Scarlett's
was
up to.
there. Yeah.
Sorry, Chester knew that Carter. Did I know that you two were doing that? Did I leave before you left, or no? I left at the same time. That's right. Yeah, because I brought a pistol in case things went wrong, and I had to run somewhere. That's right. Okay, so in that case, since I know that, I am going to pull out my terminal and text June and say, "Hey, I've got the cargo from the Constellation Drifter over here. I have a pallet jack thing. Do I need to take anything anywhere, or like, are we selling stuff? Do I just take this back? If I don't hear anything, I'm just gonna turn it back in because I don't want to incur any more rental fees. Thanks." Send.
Okay. June, when she gets that, she's gonna glance down at it as they're on their way back, and she just kind of goes, "Ugh, him and his long booklets for texts." And she just sends him back. "We've got the money to reimburse you, but we're not selling anything else. Go ahead and turn it back in. Thanks."
Okay. He'll send, "Okay, that sounds good. See you soon." Send. And he's gonna turn around, close the door, make sure it's locked up, and trundle back to the rental place and return the powered pallet jack thing. I think that's pretty much all I've got.
Easy enough to do.
I'm assuming that I am not waylaid on my way to return. Okay.
Nope, not unless there's something you wanted to stop to do, but there's nobody that overly bothers you.
Yeah, I think Chester's just he's focused on the task at hand. He's like, okay, have task, must complete, is completing task, and he's hurrying a little bit because he's not quite sure how long it's been, and he's nervous about hitting another rental thing. But he just makes his way over there and returns it, and then goes back to the ship after he's done that. Oh boy.
That was interesting.
Always good when Squirrel says that.
Uh-huh.
Well, I told Foundry to roll a D100, and it only rolled a D6, so I'm not sure what the deal is there.
If only you had a D100 somewhere near you. Alas, you have almost no dice in your house.
Yeah, I know. I just
But you wanted to do that to scare us.
there. Yeah. It's also just easier when you're sitting at the keyboard. But
Yeah.
no, I'd say you get back, and you are. There's just like a couple of minutes left on before it ticks over when you check it back in.
Whew. Made it. All right. Chester, pays everything and then just thanks the guy and then heads back to the ship.
Yep.
Much slower than he took the pallet thing too. That's all I've got for now because I can't think of anything else I want to do other than make sure I don't get charged for that.
Well, let's see. That leaves us the returning negotiators and the technical support team. Whoever would like to jump in next, if there's anything you'd like to do.
I guess the negotiator should probably get back to the ship before the others do anything else.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah. So I would appreciate us going.
I would like
Sure.
to stop and get noodles.
You have your Cheetos,
Yeah,
I mean-
Cheetos.
says the ad on the ceiling.
No, I was just being a jerk. I had no problem going back to the ship.
And then we should be getting noodles from the subscription that the unconscious man had.
Oh, right.
Anyway, okay. So after she sends her messages and whatnot, she, as they're walking by all the shops and stuff, she goes, Carter, do you think we should get a treat for anybody, or should we just go back and make sure we get there in time for anything crazy that might happen? Because I know our crew.
I got my Cheetos. Let's go back.
Okay, Mr. Selfish. And she keeps walking. I think because she doesn't have anything else she wants to do. She is also aware that there are clothing things that need to be done for poor Chester, and but she's more concerned about making sure the money gets where everybody wants it to go before anything else happens.
Sounds like real life, Neb. So,
I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't doing family money stuff in the middle of our stream yesterday.
definitely not. Okay. Would Chester see June and Carter walking back?
I'd say probably about the time you're getting back, you'd be able to see them coming down one of the passages from the other direction.
He'll just wave. I assume they're probably not walking next to each other. So he just waves like casually, but he thinks he's waving casually, but he's waving a little more enthusiastically than is normally, socially acceptable. Just because he's not sure if they'll see him at first, so he waves a little harder, and then like a little harder, and then smiles, and then like puts his hand down and keeps walking as he notices other people looking at him.
June will just wave back as enthusiastically, just because she can. And then she just kind of mutters to Carter, "He's such an idiot."
Chester feels very good that someone waved to him and feels much less awkward, and notes to himself that is a normal way to wave to people.
Yep.
So obviously, while that is happening, Nigel and Thomas are heading out the airlock, and pass in front of June, because we're going to walk in between June and Chester here. When we're passing in front, and we're going to wave at Chester, just kind of like passing through, obviously, so that they know that they weren't waving at him. Carrying around, apparently we have a combat drone and a torpedo warhead.
No, don't say it to the GM. Never say it to the GM.
I mean, I wasn't aware one of those got wired up to it, but sure, I'm down with it.
I feel like if we're carrying a torpedo warhead on the dock, someone's going to stop us.
I'm pretty sure you're going to be stopped, yes.
This is an emotional support warhead. I'm just taking it for a walk.
It's got a little vest on it.
June sees them, and the smile like totally disappears from her face, and she goes, "Excuse me, Carter." And she walks with a purpose, without calling too much attention to herself, over
wearing
to the
her
others.
slinky green dress.
Yeah, well, she walks over to them and she goes, "What are you doing?"
Do you actually have the combat drone with you?
No, that was a joke.
Okay. I knew the warhead was, but I don't know about the drone.
Well, not yes. Anyway.
Dustin and I Nigel was going to say, Dustin and I are looking for more Duster ships.
Okay. Do you mind waiting just a little bit, because I made a good sale, and I kind of want to get things rolling for getting ship repairs, and I want to make sure everybody knows what's up with the money. I'd feel dishonest any other way.
At this point, Chester gets into conversation range. Are we going somewhere?
Nigel's going to look back at June and have the closest look to a deadpan pout. And be like, "Okay, Eartha lady."
I just want to make sure that you get your cut. It's a good pay.
Nigel's gonna nod and look over at Thomas and be like, I guess we can wait.
Wait for
Yeah,
what?
I mean, there's probably public listings of which ships are currently here, so we could probably do that while we're talking. Look up if there's any here.
What are you looking for?
Oh, other MCRN ships. Any
Why?
that happen to be in dock.
Let's talk about
Let-
it on
yeah,
our
let's-
own MCRN
yeah.
ship. How about that? Let's go do
It's not an
that.
MC. Okay.
She
Dasta.
and she walks back, meets back up with Carter. Okay, we're all gonna go back onto the ship, and we're gonna divvy out this money stuff, figure out what needs to be done for the ship for sure. And then apparently those guys are going to try and figure out something to do with MCRN ships in the dock. So that's exciting. Can't wait to hear more about that.
That sounds like a terrible idea. I'm gonna go back on the ship and stay on the ship.
Okay.
You can tell he's already enjoying those Cheetos.
Okay. So I assume we're all just going back onto the ship.
The ship.
Yep.
Indeed.
Works for me.
Okay. When she gets back in, June's gonna call down to Rebecca and make sure that she's in on this because she has the most input as to what needs to be done with the funds.
So we're all on just on that airlock kind of, I guess, lobby, as it were.
Like right outside the ship, or should we actually go inside? I don't want like echoes going on in the hallway.
Well, no. I mean, like we're on the ship, but I'm just trying to figure out where to put my thing. I'm assuming we walked into the personnel lock. 'Cause
Yes, probably.
that's where you would have been going. That's where Chester would have been going back to.
I have a question. If this is the airlock, how did you get down with the forklift into the cargo bay?
There's another door here.
There's cargo access.
Okay.
I
Right here.
would say like the cargo doors probably don't they don't have their own like full airlock setup. So if you were to try to transfer something without being attached to a station, you would have to seal and vent that entire deck. It just
Yeah.
has like a door.
Yeah, and that's
You're relying
in
on
the
the
show.
station for docking.
Yeah, in the show you see that too, where the
Mhm.
cargo doors are. It's literally just a door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway. So sorry, the baby just touched my microphone. So everybody's down here then, even though Thomas is still showing himself as up there.
Thomas is
Oh, sorry, I'll move.
Thomas is always in the bridge in his mind.
That's right. Just
Never more than
constantly.
6 inches from the PDC and the other buttons.
Of course not.
So June's gonna be like, hey everybody, Carter and I had a grand old time talking to Alexander Mitchell. It actually went a lot faster than I thought it would. Right, Carter?
Yes, much better.
Yes, and nobody died, which is a plus.
A big plus, especially not me.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants you dead, right, Carter? I don't think there's anybody in the verse that wants you dead. Anyway.
Not here.
No, okay, not here. And June chuckles as she pulls out her tablet and she throws the number that she got to everybody else's. She goes, so this is what we got. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And so Rebecca, I have your list here, and she pulls up the list that she was given, and she runs through it and she goes, I think that I can get most of this stuff. I can try and haggle deals on some of them if you want, and maybe we can save some money that way and have some more to split up. But what things definitely do we need to buy?
Rebecca would step away from the wall where she's sort of just been standing off outside of the group. And let's see, there's the stuff up at the top, like machine shop, spare parts. She'd basically run through the stuff that was up towards the top of the list that's the most important, that you would really want to get. And then as you're getting down to the bottom, it's you would be aware, even from your own standpoint, that you're kind of getting into the stuff that an engineer may want to have on hand, but it's not really necessary. It's some of the not specialist tools, but just extra stuff that makes the engineer's life easier, but isn't super duper necessary.
100%. Yeah. Okay.
You're getting into the 6 months of air filter replacements,
Right. And just all of the extra stuff. Please, I would like this so we don't have to run into an emergency situation. Got it.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
She had kind of been asked for a list, and she provided you a comprehensive list.
Right.
She did her best to organize it, but she gives you a line of like, this is what's desperately needed, and if you guys have something you want to add. We're talking about like the machine shop stuff, so she could be more flexible to deal with problems as they come up. There's probably some like critical spare parts that would get tossed in there, and then things like that.
Okay. Awesome. I love myself a comprehensive list, and I especially love that you organized it. Didn't even have to ask, but thank you so much. Do you have anything that you want me to hire out to get fixed, or do you want to do it all yourself?
I mean, the ship's in pretty good shape. As far as maintenance goes, previous crew at least had some idea of what they were doing.
At the mention
I
of the
guess it would
previous
depend.
At the mention of the previous crew, Chester just looks at his wrist, make sure everything's fine with the crew member who's still unconscious in the bed.
Yep.
Puts it away, doesn't say anything.
I guess it would depend on if there were any major changes you wanted to make while we were here. That I wouldn't be able to handle.
My only thought is if you want a machine shop to be a separate thing, that is something maybe we could look into. Probably be a big expense, but I think it would be worth it personally. Does anybody else have a thought about that?
Every ship I served on, while I was still active duty, had a machine shop on it somewhere. They don't have to be an entire deck. They can be fairly smallish. Chester kind of like makes a gesture about the size of a large desk. Obviously, the bigger they are, the better they are typically. But
well, I remember that the people who came in and like saw the acceleration chair down in the engineering were kind of upset about that. I wonder if we get somebody to put like walls around it, if they'd be like fine with it. I don't know.
I think it's a good idea to have an acceleration chair not in walls by the engine room, because if Rebecca's down there and she needs to jump into an acceleration couch, it's better that she doesn't have to open doors and jump through things to get into one.
Yes, that's true. I don't know. Rebecca, if you don't think it's an issue, then we'll just make sure you have at least a bench and a good rack of tools. Is that cool?
Yeah, that would be enough.
Okay.
Probably take one of the cabins that we're not using or something. Would pull the bunk out, put a workbench in.
Okay, we can do that. So no hiring out, and she looks down back at the list and kind of mentally crosses that off in her own head, and she looks it up and down. She goes, okay, I think I can get most of this stuff for us, and with the sum that we have, that'll probably leave. And then she gives like a ballpark. Is it like, would it be a couple, because you said that there's like 2 points up if we didn't spend the money. Would it if we spent enough to get the main parts, a good machine shop, spare parts, on the top part of that list, would it still be enough to bump them up 1 pay grade?
Yep, that's basically for something like this. What I would do is come at it from the direction of like how much did you want to spend, and if you only want to spend one of those points and kind of remove that from what you would personally have access to, and then from there we can deal with. I assume June is going to go out and hunt for the best deals possible.
Yes.
And basically, how much of that 1 point do you can you get,
Right.
or how much can you get with that sum of money, and then each of you gets your one individual point.
That's, I think, what I would like to do is I would like to make it so that she allocates enough so that it would be 1 point's worth for the ship, and then everybody else gets a point worth because she wants to definitely give them a good cut to be like, yes, look what I can do. As well as, but we can still make sure that the ship has what it needs, and I will try even still to save even more money if I can.
Yep.
Okay.
I would say where the list stands, if you just went out and you didn't negotiate for anything, the core stuff, the important stuff you'd be able to get, and the roll is just going to start adding like the extra stuff that you can get on top of that.
Okay. Then I think that's what I want to do then.
Okay.
I mean, she's the captain.
That's kind of the way that Rebecca sees it.
Well, so then June looks up and so she says, so those are the numbers I'm looking at. Is it okay with everybody if I go out with the money that I do have? I've got this number in my head, and I'll go out with what I have. It's all in my personal account, so I need you guys to let me know what your own accounts are, if you would like your cut of the money, and just leave that with me, and I'll make sure that you get it after I get all of the other shopping done. Is that cool with everybody? Trust me?
That's good.
Yeah.
So far, I mean, I haven't had any complaints.
Okay. And then my only other question is, would you like me to open up an account just for ship stuff, or should I just handle this and you guys don't have to worry about it?
I think a ship's account is a good idea, especially then for things like ship expenses, we could all have access to that account, and for things like rentals or maintenance stuff or docking fees, we can just charge directly to the ship account rather than having to reimburse back and
Replacement
forth.
torpedoes.
Replacement torpedoes, yes.
And Cheetos.
And
Speaking of, we're gonna need some of those, aren't we?
June glares at Thomas, by the way, and goes, if I catch you spending money without asking from the ship account, then we're going to have some words about your access to said account, Thomas.
I'm not going to respond to the words. I'm just going to wear the most beatific, innocent smile you've ever seen.
Roll deception.
You can't deceive June.
I mean, is he lying?
Anyway, so cool. Sounds good. I will take care of that. And not Thomas, sorry. Chester, make sure you get me the receipt for the stuff that you used, and I'll make sure you get that reimbursed.
He pulls his terminal out and flicks the transaction log over to her.
Oh, hey, that's not bad. Good deal. And then she flicks back immediately what he needs, because it's like nothing.
I mean, to
and-
you, maybe. Rich
Well.
girl.
Oh, no. Anyway, she's actually lower class. She just knows how to get a good deal.
Right now, you're not
This-
lower class, not with that
Well,
bank
that's
account.
true. Not right now.
This-
Are we upping that by one then?
That's yeah. So everybody, your I'm forgetting exactly what it's called. Basically
Income
your
score?
income score.
It's literally called the income score, I believe.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was actually income or if it was wealth, or that's the downside to playing a bunch of different systems is all of the terminology gets all sort of bunched up.
So it
I
all
sit
goes
here,
up by
start
1?
calling for tests that don't exist because I'm using terminology out of a different system.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is found in equipment. Income is down at the bottom.
Yep, lower left corner of equipment for anyone who needs to find it.
And then I guess the question from there is, were you guys wanting to then set up like a pooled income?
I think so. Is the idea that we're gonna have a ship account?
Yeah, so I think the only problem with that is in real life, we'd want the ship account to be separated from our personal account. Unfortunately, I think in the gameplay, it's either we have our personal accounts or we have a pooled account.
Yep.
But
and narratively, like, you can still flavor it that you have like the separate, keeping them separate. Let me just see. We'll walk through the math, and then you guys can kind of decide. Let's see, what is that? 40 of exactly how that works. Pooling income on page 42. Yes, 42 is where it talks about it. Looks like. Take the highest income score among the combined characters and reduce it by 1 to determine the crew's combined income. This becomes the new income score for all of the characters. If their income scores are all equal, the new combined income score remains the same. The crew ever splits up and wishes to divide their income.
Welcome to the Banana Band.
Everyone involved
Thanks for
has
the
a new
follow,
personal
sensibly.
income score equal to the pooled score -1, reflecting the cost of splitting things up.
So wait.
okay.
So the income score for a group is basically the same as the richest person -1?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's the benefit, is that basically everybody is using the same, it's kind of spreading everything out.
Right.
Well, you all just
kind
lucked
of equalizes for the group. But
Is that how we want to do this, or do we want to use our own income scores and just say that things are getting reimbursed from the ship account?
yeah, and then that would be the other way to do it as well, narratively.
Are our income scores rather disparate? Like,
Yes.
Are they well compared to
Carter, what's
Yes.
your income score?
8.
Holy cow!
Wow. Not buying you Cheetos ever again.
With the bonus we just got, I'm at 5. I think I'm
I'm
Oh,
an
sorry.
income of 3. Okay.
Was it +1 or +2 for the new
It was
bonus?
Just one.
+1.
So 9.
Oh, jeez.
It was 8.
So you would all then have an 8, is what it would be.
Which I believe in the book is affluent.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, I mean, we did just get a big thing, but I don't know.
I just feel a little bit like almost cheating. that we
Yeah,
suddenly
I
all
think
literally all got this money.
and I think
Yeah.
just speaking roleplay wise, I don't think that these people, even though some of them know each other, I don't think we're all just going to pool our money together.
Yeah, probably not.
We're
And
not
we all have such different tastes.
we're not
like-
a commune yet. I mean, we'll see. You never know. But
Aren't there some rules on
people can assist
assisting
I
each
know.
other?
Yeah.
I was thinking, so if we have any tests to do with, like, as the group, that then we all sort of act as if we're all assisting each other.
Yeah, and I also think it's a little more fun and adds a more challenge if if June is in a situation where she needs to buy her way out of something, but she's only got an income score of 3 or 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Literally
Um,
just like I upped it from 2
Oh,
to 3.
Siri, call Carter.
Yeah. Well,
Carter,
and
I need you.
What I would say you guys could do then is, if having access to some form of ship account, is that if June found herself in that situation, like it might give her the ability to temporarily use a higher number, but it may result in an impact to everybody's income
Right.
score instead of just hers.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That
So
kind of thing.
I like the idea of us just keeping it separate because it it
Mhm.
opens up the door to a lot of different things if income becomes an issue.
Do
Mhm.
And then we can just say that it's reimbursed from some sort of pooled thing because
If-
I gave up another point to say that we.
well, but
are
that's getting
using it.
spent, right? So the
Yes.
idea behind that is that's getting spent, and so any income score that the ship gets, I think what we do, and this is my thought, and also everyone watching, this is TRPG Live. Here we're figuring
Uh-huh.
things out.
This is how this kind of stuff happens.
My proposal is that when we get an income reward, we as the crew choose whether to take that reward ourselves or pool it into the ship income reward. So like if we didn't take that reward we just got, we would add +4 into the ship pool instead, and that the ship has a 4 income score or something like that. So
That would be fun. Can we do that? Can
that
we
we
say
could
that?
then add to our income score if we needed to combine ship and crew kind of thing. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know if that hurts the mechanics at all.
Sure, why not? We can try it.
We'll just say the good news is its own character now, and it's got
But-
its own income score.
But
And I would think, well, let's see, because there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I assume, would everybody want to do that, or does
Well-
anybody want to keep
well, I'm assuming
+1?
what's happened here is 5 has gone in. An income score of 5 has already gone in, and that's what's being used, and it'll deplete because it's a huge purchase, so it depletes it down to 0 until something else happens later, right? This is I think what's happening, but this starts making it so you have to kind of keep track a little bit more of the ship itself. I don't know. But if we all gave it in, that would have, or we just say that we give it in and the ship has an income score of 5 and the rest was spent, and then we don't get the income bonus. I don't know.
Another way to do it, which may not be quite as reflective of sort of the situation, the thing is if we say we've got an account, but we have separate income scores. But for instance, in the situation Nab mentioned, if she goes to buy something, even if Carter isn't there to help her out, he could say, we could almost use his income score in the assist, if that makes sense.
But if it goes
That's
badly,
kind
it
of what I
reduces.
meant, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to put anything specifically on paper about it, narratively we've established that there's some connection between your accounts. So if June finds herself in a situation where she needs, to be operating on a higher income than hers alone, as long as somebody else is available to do something, isn't out of, unable to basically approve the transfer of funds, we could, use somebody else's income score in those situations.
And then if something goes wrong and like the test goes bad and it hurts the income score, it hurts all of our scores, and that's the downside, right? I'm just trying to make sure that there's a
Basically, yeah.
downside, because
Yeah.
balance is important, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm good with that. Because that's less math and keeping track of things that we have to do, and the less that we as players have to do to keep track of things. A lot of times, well, sometimes the less you as the GM has to keep track of. And this is one of those things where you have to keep track of less, and I think that's better. Less work for you
Generally.
means more entertainment for everyone.
I
Generally.
love that June, literally, like after talking to everybody and knowing their income scores, June literally has lived off of her pretty privilege because she can't live any other way.
Well, if she stopped buying fancy dresses,
She
Maybe.
doesn't buy them. That's the fact. She goes
Mhm.
in and she uses her pretty privilege and she gets a fantastic discount, and that's how she gets her pretty dresses. Or she goes to some sort of thrift shop somewhere, gets the nastiest looking dress she can find, and alters it her own way with her own tailor, who happens to be her second cousin. This is,
Okay.
yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, not gonna lie, when I was in high school, I would take my girlfriend at the time to the local fireworks, or the native reservation nearby to buy fireworks, and she would wear a low-cut shirt in order to get better deals at the from
It's
the
a
fireworks
thing.
stands. It literally, we tested it once. I went up and haggled. I was like, okay, I'll come back, and then we'd send her up, and she would get half the price, like literally half the price. It was amazing.
Yep.
Anyway, We're not talking about that right now. We're playing tabletop RPG, and we're in a freaking spaceship, man.
Okay, so we figured out basically how we want to run money.
Mhm.
June is going to go and make sure everything is bought. We can make an RP of the haggling if we want. If not, then it's just like, okay, this happened. But
I kind of want to start moving the story along to
Yeah.
the
Yep.
next stage.
We
so.
can kind of. June will be unavailable for a period of time while she's
Yes.
going around and doing what June does, and then we will sum that up with. Well, actually, I can make this Can I do an extended income test? Is that a thing?
Oh.
There's extended tests, but can you do that with? Well, no, it wouldn't be an income test. It would be a negotiation.
yes, yeah.
Because you would be haggling as you go.
Yeah, because you have a set amount of money that you're going to spend.
Yep. And you're trying to get as much out of it as you can. So
Yes.
where is the extended tests?
I mean, it could just be like one roll. If there is no extended test for this or whatever, it could even be just one roll at the end. How well did you do?
Yep.
Okay. Well, while she is away doing that, I'm gonna go and change the baby's diapers. So have fun.
That is an extended test sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so June.
June is heading out to make the various shops and suppliers on Tycho Station rue the day that you ever docked here.
Right. She sachets off the ship,
Mm-hmm.
and the children are left unsupervised.
Indeed.
So what's this about finding a ship? What's happening?
So the short version is this data core we have is looking for some kind of input, like some kind of current database of fleet dispositions or something, and that's why we can't get it out of demonstration mode. So the thinking is, if we can find an MCRN warship, plug it in, we might be able to actually see what's on the data drive. There are absolutely no flaws with this plan.
If either of us were active duty, maybe we could pull that off. But I mean, I'm out. They're not going to just let me in for a tour.
Hey, that.
Unless you're still... Are you still on reserve or something? Do you still have access?
Well, we're all still technically on reserve.
Yes, but there's reserve, then there's reserve. You know what I mean.
Well, the first thing to do before we make any decisions is just find out if there are any ships here. I'm not hugely hopeful because, this Tycho isn't exactly MCRN friendly. It's
Right.
More OPA aligned.
Okay, but so instead of walking around, why don't we just look at the list of docked ships?
Well, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Jester pulls out his terminal and looks at the public list of docked ships. Does he see any MCRN vessels docked currently at Tycho?
The ones that you immediately find are like they're listed as I don't know if this is exactly how the Expanse worked, but it is now. They would be like Mars-flagged cargo ships.
Like military transports, or just straight up like merchant ships?
Like a cargo ship that is registered with Mars.
Okay, yeah.
Totally
how it works.
Yeah. So that you get a couple of those, but given the current state of tension, that you gather that those vessels are traveling as something of a convoy, and so there are a couple of I'm trying to balance this. They are listed as being there. The cargo ships are basically with an annotation that would indicate that they are traveling with escort. but it's not publicly available exactly what those escorts are. Probably not difficult to find out, but it's not,
And they may or may not be docked at the station. They might just be holding
standing
station
off
outside.
waiting for the cargo ships. Yes.
Okay.
It's possible either way, because depending on how long the cargo ships were there, the escort ships may be providing some R&R opportunity, or dealing with some maintenance issues of their own, so it's possible.
Yeah,
but
and
it's
Tycho's-
not necessarily publicly listed which warships are with the convoy.
Right, and Tycho being a free port, like anybody can dock for repairs or whatever, as long as
Yeah, Tycho will take anybody's money.
Oh yeah, they might charge you more if you're from Mars or Earth, but they'll take your money. Okay, looks like there's a supply convoy here. I'm not sure where it's going or where it's coming from, but it says the annotation indicates it's escorted, but I mean, they're not going to tell anybody what ships are where. So we might have a couple ships. It wouldn't be anything big if it's a convoy like this. But, and I'm going to throw the names of the 3 ships over to Thomas. And Nigel, just because Nigel is computery and he's probably going to take it from me even if I don't give it to him. So I'm gonna use choice while I can.
You mean these ships?
Yeah, those ships. Yeah, I know. Chester changes the password on his Google account.
Can I do an intelligence check with my knowledge talent to just see if I recognise any of the names of the ships, or if I can sort of do a local search of any transponders in the area and see if there's any I recognise.
Well, the names that are passed across are all civilian. And it wouldn't be unusual that if military, either UNN or MCRN, is docked, that they probably end up getting overcharged for their docking fees. But part of that is basically the names of the vessels are kept off of public rolls.
Okay.
That just seems like it works. So, but you would be able to, if you go digging into, if you know the right places to look on the system, it's possible you'll be able to suss out some additional information, because you would know better than anybody that it's impossible to hide everything everywhere. There's always a bit of information.
Okay. So I would like to do that, please.
Yep. So go ahead and roll. Would that be an intelligence? Probably technology.
I have intelligence research.
That should let you do that should let you replace the tech one.
Okay.
If I remember
Let me
correctly.
look.
I suppose is it more of a hacky sort of thing, or is it more of a digging out information sort of? I suppose
at this
is
point,
is
you're
where
not
that would.
actively hacking anything, is my understanding. You're basically going like, all right, fine, they're not going to tell me. Let's go see. Like, you can always. What's the line? Mr. Universe. That you can't stop the signal. The information is always out there if you know where to look.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd say research would apply. Well, okay.
Yeah.
I'd say with the drama die of 1, it is going to take you a while to sort through. So it'll probably be, excuse you, cat, a good, I'm going to say 4 hours of time to sort through the data. Like, as you get into it, you're like, oh, hey, there's a lot here. And so you have to settle in to really pour over it to get any results.
Okay. I think I'm happy to do, seeing as we're going to be waiting for June anyway.
Yep.
Okay.
So in that 4-hour period, anybody else have anything you want to do? Rebecca would kind of head back down to the like engineering spaces running some more diagnostics and checking things over.
Nigel would be watching Thomas struggle with a bowl of popcorn.
Okay.
Where'd you get the popcorn?
Does it matter?
Can I have some?
Yep.
Yes. Chester takes the popcorn. He's not incredulous. He just wanted popcorn. Did we? I know we talked about how much time it would take for the various like custom order clothing things going on.
Mm-hmm.
Was it something that's going to be like tomorrow kind of thing?
I think so.
Okay.
I've lost track of the flow of time a little bit. It would seem, yeah.
I think the last 3 episodes have basically been on one day.
Mm-hmm. We've packed a lot into a day.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I mean,
busy.
We do that. I mean, that's what heroes do. We're totally heroes. Okay, so well, Chester's just gonna go up and into his room then and just read and kind of try to figure out, just kind of try to process all the stuff that's been happening over the past week, because this has been a lot.
Yep.
And,
Okay.
and of course, on the ladder, he does look up and down and side to side and make sure no one else is on the ladder and climb it very carefully, one rung at a time.
Yep. You're the last one to leave, so the odds of anybody being there are slim to none.
Still looks.
But you still check. Yeah, okay, so we'll sort of jump. I figure it'll probably, with the amount of stuff and just the amount of moving around, it'll probably take June at least this long, if not longer, to get supplies. So go ahead. Let's see. On that 12, you would gather that there are, in fact, a couple of MCRN ships that are traveling with the convoy. Let's see. One of them, is standing off, away from Tycho a little bit, just kind of keeping an eye on things. But there is one of them that required some maintenance, and I need to get back to the right. Oh, that's not it. Right sized one. There is not a Donager, I will say that.
Of course, that would be almost as big as the station.
Yeah. It would also generally make people nervous when those things roll up if they're just sitting around. Mars does not normally leave the maintenance of their Donager class vessels to, civilian stations. They sort of like to do those things themselves. I keep flipping past the Donager. That's not, where is it? I was looking right at the one that I wanted, and now I can't find it.
Is it the Morgana or is it the Asp? So I'm assuming you're looking for.
I'm scrolling to the red ships right now.
So the Morrigan destroyer is on page 105, and then over the page onto 106. And the Asp little patrol
There
boat
we
is the very
go.
first one.
That was why I was having trouble, is because page 104 there is the last of the infinite number of pages that is a Donager.
Yeah.
I know.
Like, oh, I'm still flipping past Donager decks. All right.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like, kudos to Green Ronin, by the way, for how amazing they went into putting these maps in here. And they're pretty high resolution maps, too.
there. Okay. And so as you dig into some of the basically the Tycho's version of the local internet, there are always folks that for one reason or another like to keep track of military movements, and so there is some debate and discussion. The ship that is standing off from the station hasn't gotten close enough, so that it's not really known exactly what it is. The general consensus is it's pretty good sized, but the one that has docked has been identified by the community as a Morgana.
Ooh.
Patrol destroyer. I think size-wise, it's probably similar to the Good News. As I look at it, maybe a little bit bigger.
She's a little bigger. Length 31 meters. It should give you the length of the ship in the salvage op one.
Would have to. I don't have those pages out since we've sort of
Let
moved.
me
I'd have to
see if I
look,
can grab it.
It just looks approximately similar.
I'm pulling up salvage op now. Where is her stats?
$30 meters.
30 meters, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's literally just basically the same size.
Yep.
Which is funny because she's tiny and that's a destroyer.
I mean, since when has
And the light
ship
frigate is
classification
bigger than the destroyer.
Mhm.
Anyway. Okay, cool. All right. In Chester's background, I put that he served on a destroyer, but I was thinking a larger ship, so he didn't serve on one of these things. He just served on. I'm just going to say it now. He served on a Banshee class, just so it's locked in. Not because Banshees are older, I think.
They're actually newer. It depends which. There is a slight contradiction, but I believe that the Morgana is sort of not the brand new generation, but one generation back, same as the Donagers, and that the really brand new stuff is things like the Raptor and I think the Banshee. The Banshee's supposed to have a load of, I don't know how I know this off the top of my head, and the Banshee has a load of extra stealth stuff built into it, as well as an amazing railgun, as we all know.
Oh yeah, Spang.
Mhm. I mean, it may be a great railgun, but UNN's armor is just better.
Spang. Anyway, well, maybe I might have to retcon that because something this size doesn't need a dedicated medic. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, this patrol destroyer has a crew of 8, and the other ship has a crew of 48, and they're both considered destroyers.
Well, I mean, it is. I mean, it's specifically called out as a patrol destroyer, so at least
it's a torpedo boat. It's a torpedo boat.
Oh, it's a destroyer escort, I suppose.
Yeah.
I see. They just keep adding adjectives in front of the word destroyer.
Yes, because destroyer is a scary name.
Also, they just really want to upset DE.
Yep,
I think so.
I'm convinced that that's what it is.
Even the little bit I've looked into it, even for our actual wet navies, ship classifications just don't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's true. Like the Ticonderoga destroyers that got called cruisers because Congress was like, "There's a cruiser gap," and the Navy's like, "Not real. Oh, these are cruisers now."
Yeah,
and Congress is like,
rename it
"Okay,
to make you happy."
Yay, we have cruisers now.
So, yes. And then I would say you also pull out the vessel that's docked. There's references to a that it's likely called Solitude.
Well, that's a good name.
So after relaying this to the rest of the group, I follow on and say, considering the low number of crew, I'm thinking if a certain old hand medic from another ship wanted to drop by and buy the crew a couple of rounds at the bar, they won't all go. But maybe if there's only one or two left on board, and
You want me to take them to a bar?
I realise the folly of that part of the plan, but the other alternative is that, either I do it or we have someone else try and pretend.
A juice bar.
I feel like then I won't gonna want to go to a juice bar. Oh.
Either that, I think it's worth trying it here, because if we don't, when are we going to get an opportunity like this? I mean, the to be fair, almost, the crew's probably going to be all on shore leave anyway, with maybe a couple of guys standing watch while the maintenance crew's working.
So
If anything, the maintenance crew may be our biggest thing. Unless we pretend we're members of the maintenance crew. We do have a contact on the docks. And we try and sneak in and see if we can find a corner to plug in this data drive without
did you ever serve on one of the
suspicion.
asps?
Morgan.
Morgan?
I did a one tour, on a housing in Morgan.
Morgana.
Thomas.
Morgana. not Morgan.
Sorry, it's called different names.
I know.
Thomas looks a little shifty and says, "Well, I didn't have the cleanest record. I kept on being bounced around between various ships. There's, to be fair, not a whole lot in the fleet that I haven't at least touched the controls of."
You might have better luck trying to get on board by playing the I loved flying these things card and seeing if they would let you just pop back in the flight deck for old time's sake kind of thing. I don't know.
Okay.
I just you were there when I was at the bar.
Okay.
You were there. I don't think
the only complication. I do agree. It's a good idea. The only complication is that means they're still going to be on the ship. If, we plug that thing in, it starts screaming that I'm stolen, alerts the battle fleet kind of thing, that we're all going to be stood next to them on the ship when that happens.
I'm assuming that Nigel has joined us for this conversation because I thought we were just going to wait out and keep on going, but Nigel
Appears behind you.
Oh, I hate it when you do that. The computer core wanted input, right? It just wanted to be given sensor data from an MCRN ship specifically, or did it need just any sensor data? What was it? Could we somehow get sensor data from Solitude and bring that back and fool this thing into thinking it's plugged into the destroyer?
We don't know.
Okay.
It's worth a shot, but we may not get another chance to get on that.
I just
dusty
feel like if we go on board a Martian ship with a stolen Martian data core, that's a real fast ticket to the Martian prisons. We're going to end up out in the outer system, chugging ice and digging out ore manually, even though they got robots for that now, which is not something I'm happy that they do.
So at this point, Carter's going to lean out of his stateroom door and go, "Hey, when are we supposed to be leaving?"
Well, there is that too.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, we can keep this particular hot potato with us. Because, if
Alternatively, we found it in a dumpster and we go, hey, Martians, we found this. Is there a reward for this?
and then we have to answer how we found it.
It was
then
just
walk them
yeah.
past this, the small armory which we've just sold half of.
That's a non-starter. I just really think that trying to sneak onto a Martian ship is
Do we know why the MCRN ship is in dock? What's in repair for?
On a 12, there. I don't know Expanse technology well enough. It needed.
Expanse Technologies is now technology turbocharged, so
Yep. What I'd say, because again, even for something this small, normally the MCRN would rather handle that themselves. So, because the idea of letting a bunch of very likely OPA maintenance techs crawl around one of their, brand new, patrol destroyer, gunboat, torpedo thingies, would make a lot of MCRN admirals just cringe. They're doing the work themselves, but it would be something that they need to be powered down and docked for. So likely something, if not the drive itself, something connected to it.
Okay.
If that ship's in dock and it's off, we could just plug this thing in and it might not do anything. Anything other than try and boot up.
That's true.
So do we sneak in, or do we try and play act?
I think Nigel, with your best educated guess, how likely do you think it is that we plug this in and nothing happens?
It tried to turn everything on in that drone, so I would figure we would try and turn everything on that ship.
That's an excellent point. I don't think turning on an Epstein drive in the middle of the Tycho docks is going to be particularly discreet.
Especially if she's got some kind of drive or reactor damage. We could cut the fuel feed, but that takes more time.
Oh, and we're going beyond sneaking onto an MCRN warship to sneaking on and sabotaging an MCRN warship.
You can cut the fuel feed by just flipping the emergency disconnect. It doesn't damage the ship. It just prevents the pellets from going into the reactor.
So, disable the reactor.
I don't think they're going to see that
plug the thing
distinction. Yeah.
You just flip the switch. You've been on this. You just flip the switch back the other way. It works fine.
But I also know how as a pilot on a small ship, how I would have felt if I found somebody mucking around with the systems that were going to keep me alive for several months at a time.
That's true. All right. Well, we can't just think ourselves in circles here. We gotta go for one way or another. Do we wait for June and ask her if she has a plan, or should we leave? Actually, you should probably go before June gets back, because otherwise we're not going to do this at all, are we? Because she'll tell us not to do it. She's probably right, too. Like, to be honest.
Yeah, part of me says wait for June, if only because, an MCRN veteran wanting to, see the control deck is one thing. An MCRN veteran with a pretty lady wanting to see the control deck is something else.
You might be onto something there. The question is what are you going to do on the control deck? If we bring it and plug it in, bad things happen, we think. If you, other than that, what do we do? Like, how do we, once we're there?
It'd be more a case of, I'd be swapping war stories with most of the crew on the control deck, while Nigel sneaks aboard, or you and Nigel sort of wander off from the tour group. If our most basic worry
Wander
is that
off
there's
on a
something-
tour from the tour group in a 31-meter long ship. I mean, come on. You
Oh, you know
you
what I
wear
mean.
those destroyers. You don't live in them. They're tiny.
I know. I'm simply saying if we were going to do this, that would probably be the way to do it. If we're worried that we're going to accidentally, shred Tycho with PVC fire, I say we don't do it.
Did the Nigel? Did the computer attempt to activate the drone's weapon systems?
It tried activating everything.
I feel bad about this. I do not have a good feeling. But this is going to come back to haunt us no matter what we do. Unless we just destroy it. I mean, we could just chuck it into the drive plume and then never think about it again.
But we're still flying the ship that was carrying it, and
We don't know
it's going to
that.
come. Well, we can say we don't know that, but what I'm saying is that there's something about this ship which is connected to what is on that drive, and I have a feeling if we don't know how the circumstances of how all this cargo ended up on this ship, and what this ship with some fishy features about it is up to, I think chances are we're going to end up it's going to bite us, and we're never going to see it coming. I would rather know what the state of play with the ship is, and who may be drawing a target on our backs, rather than waiting for things to happen to us. If there isn't an opportunity to find that out, that's fine. But I think throwing the drive out the airlock and forgetting about it probably isn't going to help us in the long run.
You're probably right.
But again, we can focus on more immediate priorities. We can get the cargo. I think the cargo's for this from the Constellation is on its way.
It's,
no, you
the
brought that, didn't you?
it's
Yeah.
in the cargo bay. We're good. I think we just have to offload the stuff from.
I'd say-
I
Somewhere in the last 4 hours, some folks would have showed up and would have essentially requested access to the ship, and then they would have had the documentation from. I've forgotten NPC names because best GM.
Well, it's also been a month, so
Yes, from
hat guy.
Mitchell. And the given you didn't actually sell that much.
They've taken it. They've gone off, and it's all good.
Yeah, and then the basically the funds would have then actually been released for use. Well, actually, since he had already paid for it, he wouldn't have waited terribly long to send anybody to get his stuff.
Right. Okay. So the only thing we're waiting on then is the Rebecca's list, which is what June is out doing. So we can leave right away as soon as June gets back. So if we're going to do this is actually a good opportunity, because if we can get in, get out, and then not be, they don't know whose ship it is. Dozens of ships come to and from Tycho every hour. We're not going to get noticed in that.
Yeah.
Should we just go plug it in and see what happens? And then run if things go wrong? I don't know what the right call is here.
Sure. Why
I
not? I mean, we've made stupider decisions.
Nigel, you think it's a good
I'm
idea?
sure.
Or at least an entertaining bad idea?
Nigel rips the data core out of the drone, looks at the dusters and go, "Dust is ready."
He seems a lot more excited than I expected him to be. Should we tell Carter? No, he said he was going to stay in his room, huh? We should probably just go.
We should probably tell him to get into a crash couch,
All right.
just in case we have to
Run back,
kick
yeah.
the tires and light the fires.
Well, we'll go down and talk to Carter and explain what we want to do.
Okay. Out of character for a minute. Didn't we say? Wasn't one of the ship qualities that we can actually change the
Transponder,
transponder.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is
Mhm.
exactly what I'm going to say we're doing. Right now, did we label it as the good news right now? It is labeled as the good news.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, so we'll have to
Yeah.
change it away from what the actual ship's name is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Because normally, leaving a station like Tycho, there would be a process of requesting clearance.
Yep.
But if you just, burn out of there and run for the hills, the not being noticed part starts to drop.
Mhm.
Yes, but that's why I'm thinking we get our ducks in a row. Okay, so we'll get our ducks in a row ready for departure, and then we can just leave
Mm-hmm.
quietly,
Mhm.
like nothing's
Without
wrong.
your clothing.
I'm wearing clothing. June's voice in the back of my head. Right. Let's see if we can do it sneaky. If we do it sneaky, they won't know. If it goes unsneaky, I can come back for my clothes.
Well, I suppose the other way is if we're thinking about just plugging it, throwing caution to the wind and plugging it into the ship. Why not change the transponder on the float? Then when we dock at Ganymede, plug it in there because
Plug it in.
although
Plug it into. I mean, I guess there's probably going to be a Martian ship at Ganymede.
yes, Ganymede's divided up into zones of control between the UNN and the MCRN. But what I mean is not so much about plugging it into an MCRN ship. I mean, if we're plugging it into the good news, if we turn up at Ganymede and we're the Joe Bloggs ship, or whatever junk name we come up with, then we plug it in and we have to run, or we plug it in on the float. Just as long as, because if we're leaving the station and if we're trying to leave Tycho under an assumed name stealthily, it's going to look really weird. That hang on a minute, we saw the transponder change. What's going on here?
Right. Well, no, I'm not saying we change our transponder here. I say that we disappear. If something goes wrong, we just disappear, and when we cut our drive and we're on the float, that's when we change everything. We change vectors a little bit to make it look different, and then we are something else on the way in. But I don't know. I just feel like we should do something other than going shopping.
Yes, agreed. I think we should leave, plug the drive in. Well, when you say something goes wrong, are you talking about the original plan we had, which was
I'm talking about the
going onto
initial plan. I'm talking about going there, plugging it into that ship. That way, it's not directly connected to
I'm with
this
you.
hull.
Okay, yeah, there. Yeah, that sounds. I'm happy with that. Let's do it.
Carter, you want to come?
Are you people insane?
Maybe.
You think you're going to sneak on to an active duty Martian warship with an unknown device and just be able to, quote, plug it in?
Thomas, do you still have your uniform? I don't have mine. Oh, we didn't bring anything with us. Oh, no, we did. I wear, he points at the coveralls.
They're
Personally?
not gonna let you guys in the airlock. You don't just bring random visitors on board.
But we're
unless
not
you're
random.
The captain of the ship.
We're not
Are you the-
random.
Are
we
you? Are you
we
the
are
captain of the ship?
ex-military.
Yeah, ex-military.
So is everybody else on Mars.
Did someone just hear something? I think the air conditioner said something.
Yeah,
I'm not
Weird.
coming
change
with
that air
you.
filter.
I'm not ending up in some Martian gulag. Thank you very much. I'm staying on what will very soon be mine and June's ship. And I'm going to wait for the news of your demise.
Point of order: if we're all dead or in prison, who's going to fly the ship out?
I'll hire a new pilot.
What if we buy you a beer?
I'll
I can
even
buy
dr-
my own beers.
I'll drink a shot in front of you again.
No, that's fine. I am not going with you guys. Someone has to be there to let June know what you idiots attempted.
Again,
Go,
June's
go.
probably right.
Go on. Of course June's right. June doesn't have to be here to be right. You three nincompoops are gonna get yourselves murdered. And then it'll be me and the two ladies. I like those odds.
Well,
I think
the
we-
alternative
I think-
is we plug it into this ship.
What if we just plug it into the station?
How about
How about
throw it out an airlock and don't think about it with our nice ship that we have with a big fat bank account
that
waiting
might have
for
some
us?
kind of marker or something on it? We don't know why the ship was out there. We don't know why the ship had this Martian data core, which is incredibly rare and super secret and shouldn't be just sitting in a cargo box. We don't know
so
why any of this is
Scenario
around.
1.
Let's sell the
Scenario
ship
1.
and retire.
And
You're
then-
a
oh,
lazy
so it's-
man, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm a
And also
politician.
that's-
I'm the laziest man.
Also, that puts all our personal details on the transaction as former owners
Mhm.
of a ship.
Well, those
and
are
it's
already
still gonna
there.
come back to us.
Yeah, everything's there. We're already attached to this ship. Thomas is right. We need to know what's on that data core and what's going on with this ship. And why. Why is the good news? Why? So, if we plug it into Tycho, it's going to do its thing and grab input, and we might be able to watch and see what it's done. It's going to call out and scream for help or whatever. But it's Tycho, not our ship.
Yes. Let's murder millions
We
of
don't
people.
know what it's
Not
not.
millions of people on Tycho.
They don't.
Exactly.
Tens of thousands,
No,
but-
you just said it. We don't know. If you
Typically,
if you people want to be insane, let June come back. Me, her, and Rebecca will stay on Tycho. You can take the good news way far away and plug that thing in where it can blow you guys up by your threesome.
Out of character.
We're not plugging it into the station, and we're not, I'm not trying to sneak onto a Martian warship and plug it into that.
what were you about to say?
As a
Candy?
character, I feel that if Scarlet is against a plan, it probably really is.
Fair enough.
It probably really is a stupid plan. Sad Thomas noises.
I don't know what else we can do. There's no other way to get into it unless we somehow I don't know what it wants. We don't know what it wants. The only way we only know that it wants more information. It wants to know that it's in a ship.
So let
That's all we
me
know.
paint a couple of possible scenarios for you, Carter.
Can we plug it into a torpedo? Take the warhead
Well, we
out.
tried
Plug it
plugging it
into
into a drone and it didn't.
But the torpedo has
Yeah,
much
obviously
better
there's
sensor
more.
systems. Torpedo has active
The-
radar. Torpedo has long-range communications. It has thrust systems.
The drone was specifically disabled so that it wouldn't call out, and now we find out that it needs to call out.
If
So
we put it in a torpedo and we're just monitoring it, it calls out, we can destroy the torpedo and run. So this is something we could do on the way.
Yeah, okay. I like that plan better.
Then we at least see what
yeah,
it
we
does.
could do that.
We see what it does. All right. We should. What time is it?
It's
GM,
8
what time
o'clock
is
my
it?
time.
I'd say at this point, let's see, it's been 4 hours or so. You guys have been arguing for a bit.
We're not arguing. I'm just explaining why they're wrong.
Tomato, tomato. See, it was reasonably. I'd say it's getting on into what would be considered Tycho's late afternoon into evening at this point.
Okay. Okay, so here's what I think we do. Now that the madness is past, I think we go about our business. We fly out. Once we hit, instead of hitting our full turnaround, instead of doing the full Brachistochrone trajectory, we go on the float for a little bit. We adjust our course a little bit. We pop the torpedo out, and then we have I'm sure Nigel or Rebecca can set something up where we can remotely activate it to where it connects and it connects to the torpedo and let it do its thing. We see what it does. If it goes crazy, starts screaming for the Martian Navy, we blat it with a PDC shot and run. If it doesn't, we
Might
see
be
what's
worth
going
trading
on.
the fuel from it first as well.
Yeah, probably. But anyway, but we take it off of our ship. We put it on something that doesn't have an ability to infiltrate our ship, because all torpedoes do is tell me, this is where I am, this is where I am, I accept commands, this is where I am.
Yep, sounds good.
I think that's what we do. And then we just go on our way and get to our destination and start making money for our boss on
Yep.
our ship. And then we can forget all of this. If it blows up, I'll be happy. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Sure, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yep, sounds like a plan. Let's do
Right,
it.
Carter? It's going to be fine? It's going to be fine.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. We're running this all by June when she gets back. You know that, right?
She is the captain. She's always been the captain. Okay. I think we are done making sure Squirrel has a nice easy day.
I mean,
That was fun.
Would have been more fun if we'd been allowed to go ahead with it. Ugh.
I think we'd be dead, honestly. I think Scarlet's right. I think
So,
we're dead.
real
I
quick.
mean, you guys could probably, you have enough ammunition to deal with 8 MCRN.
God.
I'm just saying.
Tycho Station explodes. Campaign over. Squirrel's like, yes, I don't have to do this anymore.
The good news is labeled as a terrorist.
And then you
At
have
the
2 ships.
UNN. We can barely man one ship.
Yeah.
Minimum crew on a Morgana is 3. You'll be fine.
Okay, so we will wait for June's return. And then I think we just just have an evening,
Well,
right?
Yep.
yeah. Would now be a good time for a break then, if we're waiting for
I think
June's
so.
return?
I think it's a good time for a break.
That works for me.
Break time.
Break time! Break time! People can ask
Break time,
questions and
break
stuff
time,
now if they
break
want
time.
to, because they'll be editing out the break time. Hello, chat. How are you doing? Sorry we haven't been paying attention to you. Of course, chat is mostly us. Chat is almost entirely us. Hello, us. I'm gonna go get a drink of water.
Bad men trying to end the campaign.
So while we're on break, let's just play out how this would have gone.
Yeah,
Hi,
I
I'm
really
random guy. I'd like to come onto your naval vessel. No. I'd really like to. No.
No.
I'd really, really like to. You're under arrest.
The end. We have to come use our
And-
money to bail you out.
Nope, Carter, June, and Rebecca sail off into the dark.
I'm so glad they asked you if you were coming along and you could put your 2 cents in.
As they were talking, I kept on being like, should I go out there? I wonder if I should go out there.
I was like,
I was looking forward to watching. 3-way split.
oh man, it's the stupidest idea. It was so funny because they were all like, oh no, June got that out of the cargo hold. Oh no. And here they are trying to go to a Martian warship and plug it in. Like, what the heck? They just want something exciting to happen. I get it.
I know.
But
I know they do. But like Kander said, when Scarlet thinks it's a stupid idea,
yes.
with the guy who's like, let's blow it up,
Right.
it's like, let's pump the brakes.
It's not gonna happen. Not on my watch. No sir. I love how the whole time too they were like, yeah, if June were here, she wouldn't let us do it. She's probably right. If June were, nah, she would. She's probably right. We're gonna go do it anyway. Like,
We're gonna go before she gets back and tells us that we're idiots.
right. Thankfully, we have Carter to tell us the same thing.
Hey, I'm good to follow the story wherever you guys want to take it. So
I do want to hear, like, even with roles, right? They'd show up and what? Be like he said, right? Hey, I want to get on your ship. Wouldn't the guy just be like, no? Like, even with a full RP rolling, I don't think any of them can deceive anybody well enough to be like, I just want to get on your ship. No big deal.
I'd really like to tinker on board.
Yeah.
Leveraging the former naval status of a couple of folks could have played into it. That and legitimately rolling up, like if they waited till you got back and took June along, and one of them was like, "Look, dude, you got to help me out. I told this gal that like I serve on this ship, and I can show her around. Come on, help me out." You know, that kind of thing. That probably would have worked. It would have depended. Like I'm. Depends on what direction you guys want to go.
Man, they weren't even gonna wait for me though. Like that idea was thrown out. They were just gonna go.
Yep. So the you know, there probably would have been something. I'm certainly willing to leave it as an option. Because if I wasn't gonna let you try it, I wouldn't have even had one dock to Tycho. They would have been like,
Right.
no, they're both there, but they're out a ways.
Sure.
But I kind of want to see where you guys go. So all I can do is put options in front of you and then just sort of watch where you go.
Yep. And of course, coming up with let's make the torpedo do it instead. Like I would have never thought of that. I was like, while I was listening and doing my other things that I needed to get done, I was like fully prepared to come back up, and she was like exhausted from haggling all day, and have them be like, "Hey, can you pretend to be my girlfriend?" And or just be like, "What?"
Slow down and run that by me again.
Yeah.
I'm missing some critical information.
And I'm back.
Baby. Hello.
Blah. Blah. Yes, my...
And yeah, at the end of the day, standard crew on a Morgana is 8. You guys probably have enough firepower to deal with that if it came down to it. You know.
Yeah, depending on the dice and depending on, you know, the
Yeah.
other escort ship out there. And probably Tycho going, "What are you doing, you crazy people? You can't be pirates here." And Tycho's not insignificant armament also being unleashed on our poor little ship.
You know.
Oh, man. The madness had taken hold. The we haven't done anything. We need to do something. Madness.
He's got cabin fever.
We're gonna get out soon. Tomorrow morning, we fly out. Then we do something stupid in deep space when no
And,
one's
you know,
watching.
If you guys did decide to just chuck it out an airlock or, toss it into the drive plume and incinerate the thing, I knew that was an option from when I, came up with it as part of the idea for what you guys might run into. So
Yeah, but there's a box. I want to know what's in the box. You've done this to me. There's a
I have
box.
created the MacGuffin.
It's there. I have to. Is there an Egg McMuffin in the MacGuffin? I don't know.
Could be.
They're
What a
pretty
line
tasty.
to sit back down to.
Oh man, are we still waiting on anybody?
I'm here.
No Scarlet?
He was
Dunno.
here. He might have gotten up to get something. I think he said he was gonna do that.
Yeah, definitely.
And here we see the Scarlet, his natural habitat,
Let's sleep on the
foraging for
couch.
pretzels. And foraging for pretzels in this instance.
Oh yeah. Or asleep on the couch while slowly dreaming of eating pretzels.
I was getting cheese. Jerks. Bunch of insane jerks. That's what you are.
Put Carter in the torpedo too.
So the way that would have played out was like Star Trek 4. FYI.
Yeah, I figured.
Been hilarious.
You all have died.
Some of you may die. In sacrifice, I would have been willing to make.
So we still wouldn't have known what the thing did anyway. You'd all be dead for nothing.
If we were dead, the GM may have told the dead people what had happened. That's one way to find out. If we all died, we get to know
It's
behind the
fine.
scenes.
I would have brought the flaming duffel bag. It would have been fine. It would have been amazing.
Nobody would have seen anybody. It was completely stealthy. Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, duffel bag and some hand grenades.
Oh boy. If we're all back, are we ready to continue?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I have pulled the tabletop back up. We are ready to go. June, have you come back from your yet another shopping trip?
I assume so. I don't even know if I'd call it shopping. I was haggling the whole time. I feel like at the end of a very, very long day, with lots of emotional ups and downs and keeping her cool and getting the best deals, keeping people alive, June comes back totally and utterly exhausted, but has all of the
Was
stuff
there a
lined up.
test already done for that? I forget. Did I miss it?
Nope.
No, we haven't. No, but she's on her way back. I haven't done the test for how well it all went, but she's coming back regardless, and she had the money to get it all anyway.
Right. But we're gonna find out how well you did.
Yes, how well I did. Yes.
How many
Let's
bonus
see.
prizes we
So-
got?
The question I would have for June is how aggressive would June have been on?
She's wearing her slinky dress. Just saying.
because that would
She
depending
has
on,
advantage. No.
if you know you can get so far down on the list, how much of the extra stuff would you be trying to get? Like how hard would you be negotiating to squeeze as much out of the resources that you have? Because that's going to set the difficulty that you roll against.
She probably wouldn't, because knowing that she has the money, right? She probably wouldn't be going too hard, because she already, as I said, she already had a hard day.
Yeah.
And so she probably was putting medium pressure on, right? Like she's not gonna give up easily at any negotiation. But she's not gonna push too hard. So I'd say like medium well. How about that?
So we're sitting probably around the average to challenging range of 11 to 13. I
Okay.
think would be So, yep, go ahead and roll your negotiation.
Is that where would that be? Under communication?
Yes. Yes, that would be a communication. Okay.
Triples.
Again. Much better than the triple ones.
Mm-hmm.
Hooray.
Just as unlikely.
So
though.
let's see. I would say, I mean, the vendors and the suppliers on Tycho are used to dealing with, cargo ships coming through, needing supplies or whatever. But June is kind of a force of nature when she really gets into things. So you manage to work enough deals that you get some of the extra supplies that would have been on the list. So we're talking like the basic machine shop would have been, the equivalent of like some power tools and then a relatively decent like mechanic set kind of thing. You've managed to add a couple of extra tools, power tools to the set. Like a very small benchtop, like drill press kind of thing. You've gotten some of the bells and whistles off of towards the bottom of the list. And I would say on a hard, you would also be able to, for a very short period of time, you managed to get a good deal on some of the like food supplies. So the ship will, for a limited amount of time, have access to some better than average like food supplies.
Okay, can I come back with cheesecake?
Sure.
Sweet.
Can you put
So
Carter some of
all
the
the while
caviar he's been
the
accustomed
data
to?
was being sorted through, and the discussion about how insane some members of your party might be. Like some deliveries would have started showing up, and so that's basically where Rebecca is sort of like tearing into I'd say probably, well, I wouldn't go right next to Nigel, one of the bunks on that floor just above the cargo or the entryway from the airlocks, getting the bulkhead removed, getting the workbench put in. Very, very, very happy to start playing with more than just the very, very basic toolkit that she brought with her.
Okay.
So as you return, there's, the sounds of, power tools and drills and things like that.
Okay. So she comes back kind of slightly hunched and just tired. And comes in, and she's actually carrying a cheesecake with her. That's the one thing she wanted to bring when she came back, to just present it to everybody. And she opens up the airlock. She just goes, "I'm home. I brought a treat."
Chester hears the word treat, and his ears perk up and his tail start wagging.
I don't want to carry it up the ladder. Please come down if you want a treat.
Chester is very tempted to slide down the ladder again, but does not.
So I have an earth delicacy called a cheesecake.
Why?
It's a cheesecake.
Why
It's
would you
not
make a
made
cake out of cheese?
No, no.
Cheese?
It's not
Actual
made.
cheese?
Can you calm down? June just kind of like gives them a look of, "You insufferable children, why did I do this for you?"
You realize there's only like 1,000 cows on Mars entirely, right? So
Yes.
cheese is a thing for Martians.
So this is it's made out of a special type of cheese called cream cheese. And other types of cheeses. It's not like a block of cheddar, but it is very sweet. And I brought a strawberry topping, which was very difficult to get to, but I was able to get lots of good deals, and I felt like treating everybody. So here you go. And
So-
she
Just-
puts it down on one of the like cargo thing because like they're here there's like these things over here, right? Like she just puts it down and she's got I have little forks and everybody can just dig in for all I care, but it tastes awesome. I hope you enjoy it.
Chester walks immediately behind June, waits for her to take a piece, takes a piece right away. Without trying to look like he's eagerly trying to get the biggest piece.
Thomas
Did
takes a
I
piece.
lose everybody?
And
No, we're
No,
here.
we're here.
Oh no.
We're here, Squirrel. Can you hear us? Uh-oh.
Hello.
Oh no.
Hello. Can you hear us?
We are here. We are
Bad
here.
connection.
Oh boy, this is exciting. But we were about to eat the
We need
cheesecake.
cheesecake.
But the cheesecake! We can eat the cheesecake without Squirrel. Squirrel, can you hear us now?
Yes, I have no idea what just happened.
That's bizarre.
It cut off mid statement, and then I got bounced out of the TeamSpeak.
Apparently, there's no cheesecake for the GM.
Okay. Well, basically, Chester snags a piece as soon as June gets one.
With his
And then-
hands.
Yeah, and then Thomas is gonna say something.
Okay.
Thomas takes a slice, very gently lifts it out like an EOD tech with an exploded bomb, because this is an unknown thing to him. Well, he's had cheese before, but yeah, he sort of very gently takes a piece, and with the little tiny fork, just very delicately takes the tip off and has a bite.
So he's British, got it.
He also surreptitiously sends Rebecca a message to order another set of air filters next time we're docked.
So Chester is holding his, and he sees Thomas take the little tiny bite, and he just kind of bites the tip off of it, and then realizes he didn't grab any of the strawberry, and shoulders his way through everyone trying to get it, grabs some strawberry and smears it on top, and then licks some to get some in his mouth with the other strawberry, and then realizes he isn't actually alone and just kind of retreats back to the corner over here so he can continue to massacre this poor cheesecake.
June just kind of watches him, but she smiles because she feels good about giving him a treat and seeing him so excited about it.
As the taste hits his brain, his eyes just go wide.
Mm-hmm.
Cheese can taste like this?
And it's loaded with sugar, it can, yeah.
He just takes another bite. He doesn't say anything else. And this bite is smaller and much slower.
Thomas, what do you think?
I think it's delicious.
Oh, good. I should have asked, does anybody have any allergies? I didn't ask. I'm sorry.
And the rest of the party falls down dead.
Oh, the only thing I'm allergic to is graham crackers. Why?
Anybody lactose intolerant?
Yeah. Or deathly allergic to strawberries. I guess they wouldn't know, honestly.
Oh gosh, we all just have allergic reaction. That would be the funniest churn event ever.
Somebody dies because she brought that strawberry.
Well, if it's your first allergic reaction, you're not going to die from it.
That's
You just get real sick and you have to EpiPen yourself or something, and you'll be fine. But
Oh, everybody roll a constitution.
no.
Poor guy that you've got up in your med bay wakes up and there's an entirely different group of people all passed out.
But there's
We're
a cheesecake, and he's like, "Oh, sweet!" He takes a bite.
Anyway, Carter, are you gonna have one?
I was just waiting until Nigel had some first. So Carter would wait for Nigel to have some, and then he would just pick up the remainder of the cheesecake.
Oh, I think you're gonna have to go in a. I think
And
you're
then-
gonna have to roll initiative, my friend.
So he's going to pick up the rest of the cheesecake, look at the other three men, and be like, You forfeited this with your stupid plan earlier. Why don't you tell June what you were thinking? And then he would take a bite of the cheesecake and watch the show.
Upon hearing this, June stops chewing the bite that she's got in her mouth and just kind of just deflates, and she goes, "What happened while I was gone?"
Absolutely nothing.
Oh,
nothing happened.
Absolutely nothing happened.
We were
All
merely
right.
discussing courses of action, and Carter is trying.
They were going to try to sneak onto a Martian ship and plug the thing in.
Have you ever met someone who was the youngest child, and all they want to do is take all of the snacks, and they'll say anything to distract everyone else so they can get away with the booty?
Should I
That
play?
is what Carter is doing right now.
Should I play the data recorders?
We discussed going to the Martian ship and plugging in the recording. We discussed trying to get it. And after Carter, with some very eloquent and well-stated words, pointed out some minor flaws in our plan,
I can't. There
we
go.
decided that we were going to wait until we were on the float and plug it into a torpedo that's been disarmed and defueled and then see what happens.
Say what? Will that work?
We don't know. We just want to try and give it something that it wants so that we can access more of what's happening.
I mean,
The other alternative is that we carry on in this ship, not knowing if there's a target painted on our back, who may be after us, who may assume that we've already gotten access to what's on that data drive, and they may potentially could want us dead for it.
well, sure. I mean, I want to know what's on it too. Is a torpedo? Can you even do that? I don't even know if you
Yes.
can do that.
Torpedoes are like small
they
spacecraft.
didn't deserve cheesecake, June. See?
While he's
Carter-
talking,
Are you 5?
while he's talking to June and looking at her, Chester walks over and takes another slice of cheesecake.
Meanwhile, Thomas, isn't going to attempt to steal more cheesecake. He goes off and steals the heavy armor.
That's locked in my stateroom, I believe.
Don't worry, I've got a key. Sort of fetches the duffel bag.
Don't blow it up. Chester looks at the cheesecake, the remainder of the cheesecake on the plate, goes, I think June deserves some of that, Carter. He licks the cheesecake that he's
Yeah,
holding so that no one can take it from him.
June just kind of shakes her head. She goes, I'm not hungry. I'm gonna go to bed. And I think you all should go to bed. And you shouldn't do anything else tonight. You should just go to sleep. And then tomorrow we'll figure out what we're gonna do. Chester,
Yes.
do you have any idea about your clothing? We went through such pains to get you something ordered.
I think it's going to be, because we put a rush on it yesterday, I believe. And I think it's going to be ready sometime late tomorrow morning.
Wonderful. She just kind of looks at them all and she goes, I'm so glad you enjoyed the Earther delicacy. Now this Earther is just going to go upstairs and die. Farewell.
Can I have your cheesecake?
Carter's taking the cheesecake to his cabin per the captain's orders and going to sleep.
Carter hasn't even tasted the cheesecake yet, and he's going to go sleep with it. All right, we'll all go to bed.
Okay.
I'm hoping Nigel and Rebecca got some.
I'm hoping
because
so,
I didn't
too.
Get to hear, I didn't get to hear any of their reactions.
Nigel doesn't know what cake is.
He just looks at it, walks away. Is not
I'd
computer.
say like Rebecca probably would have been waiting till everybody else was done, kind of thing. So maybe.
Carter.
But she also got quite the it was
She
kind of
got
like
her own
Christmas
treats,
for
yeah.
brand new tools and whatnot. There may have been a small amount of like joyful whooping when she unboxed some of the extra stuff that you were able to get. The sound of impact driver and drill goes well into the evening. So, but she's well on the way of getting that sorted, getting the spare parts dealt with. So, one way or the other, Rebecca would not feel left out.
Before going to bed, Chester takes the cheesecake because he knows, unlike that uncivilized belter, that cheese of any kind needs to be refrigerated if it's soft. Otherwise, it gets kind of funky. So
you think this is lasting?
He takes his cheesecake up to the refrigerator, puts the half that's remaining in there, and a little sticky note on the plate in the refrigerator says, "I licked this, it's mine," and signed it Chester, and then goes back to his bed. Because he doesn't want to eat 2 pieces of cheesecake right away, because he thinks it's going to give him a stomachache. Because he already has a stomachache, because it's really rich.
The only thing I should have mentioned, the only thing that June does bring back with her is like 3 actual whole strawberries. Because she wants the strawberries.
And she doesn't want us to see how she eats the strawberries. These are mine. All right.
Easy enough to do. The evening will pass, so it comes around to the next morning.
Chester has a stomachache from going to bed with a stomach full of sugary cheese.
As part of the sugar rush, has stripped and cleaned his rifle about 6 times.
Chester gets up. Where are the showers on this ship? We don't have any, do we? No, it's just wash in your room. I guess Chester just washes his face in his room, whatever. Goes upstairs. Is there
I'd
someone
say
here?
the little bathroom spaces there are probably like it's one of
Toilet
those
folds
where
away kind of thing, and you can just shower.
toilet, sink, and then you're like standing in the shower stall. So
Okay, well,
you just normally, water is at a premium when you're on the move.
Yeah.
A little less so when you're actually at Tycho.
Chester actually takes a full shower then, and then just gets a clean pair of coveralls, goes upstairs, feels a little better, opens the refrigerator. Is the cheesecake still there, everyone?
It should be.
It should be.
It is there, but there's an additional note that says, "I also licked it," but no signature.
Chester eats it.
So the mind games have begun.
He also begins preparing breakfast for people, just the basic, because we got good foodstuffs, right?
Yes.
So,
but
he'll-
she didn't say anything about
okay,
that.
then he'll just prepare the normal, whatever, the fake eggs with some toast and a little bit of whatever passes for jam out in the belt, and just kind of has that waiting for people.
Protein paste number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 is pretty good.
Yeah.
June is taking her sweet time this morning.
I mean, the strawberries kept her up all night, so.
She's just exhausted. Yesterday was really difficult.
Okay. Well, let's see. Unless we want to RP morning conversation, if anyone else has anything to say.
I'd say you'd be able to move through without too much trouble. You'd get the notification mid-morning that your clothes are ready to pick up. There were a couple more deliveries that came in. Just as the kind of final round of stuff that June had negotiated for.
Sweet. The notification comes in, and He goes down the ladder. Chester does. June, are you still in your room?
Yep.
He knocks on the door and says, "Hey, my clothes are done. I'm gonna go get them. Are yours done yet? Because they're separate orders." So.
Did she actually make
Didn't
an
you
order?
order? I thought you ordered something.
I don't
think she was asking
think
No,
about
she
Oh,
was.
is it
No,
me?
she was.
the light
She was
armor into
talking.
the-
Yeah, she was talking about it, and I don't think it actually got done.
Oh, because it was expensive,
No.
and yeah, that's right. And you didn't have
Yeah.
the money, and Chester would know that, so he just would say, "I'm gonna go get my clothes now,"
Okay.
and goes
Do you
down.
want me to come with you, or are you cool to go?
His head is halfway down or his head is just above the deck level. He goes, "If you want to come, you can, but I'm on my way."
Okay, bye.
He just goes down the ladder, and on the deck just above, he looks down, doesn't see Rebecca, doesn't see anyone watching, and he slides down to the next deck. Just to prove that
Easy
he can.
enough to do.
Just to prove that he can. Lands on the deck,
Yep.
goes, "Huh," and goes off and gets his clothes.
Yep, easy enough to do. They probably, the shop would sort of insist on one final fitting before packaging it to send you out. But it's probably feels a little bit strange because this is not the way you normally dress. But,
These are not coveralls.
Yeah, the clothing.
Hey, General
I
Green.
mean, it well made, tailored to you.
Sweet. Chester looks in the mirror. He's like, "Wow, it looks really good," to himself, and then realizes he's spoken aloud. "Thank you. You did very well. I appreciate this." Hands over the credit chip. Just pays.
They'd ask if you want it, basically, if since you're wearing it, if you want to wear it out, or if you'd like to change back into. They can't bring themselves to say coveralls, but basically, if you wanted to change back into what you came in with, they would
Chester,
wrap everything up.
Your attire, sir.
Yes, yeah, what?
Yeah.
hmm
Chester decides to wear it out. He
Okay.
thanks them, and he walks out, and he's feeling like he's feeling a little more up than he has in a long time. He had a treat, something he's never had before. He's got a group of people that, even though they give him a hard time, he feels friendly with, and he's wearing new clothes. He's showered. He's clean, and his stomach ache's gone. So he's having a good time. And
You got two, didn't you? I think you got two.
two.
Outfits.
Oh yeah, that's right. I got two outfits. I'm gonna have to listen to that thing to see what
Mhm.
we said they look like because I've completely forgotten.
I don't think we officially said exactly what they were, but we threw.
There
out
was
some
blue
ideas.
and then green to match his eyes. I think one was
Or
blue and
something,
one was
yeah.
green. Yeah.
And then a couple of minor, like, not accessories, but 2 or 3 different shirts that you can cycle through. Stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. You have the beginnings of an actual wardrobe.
And they're gonna look so great hanging behind my coveralls. So he's just kind of walking, and he feels good. And as he's walking back to the ship, anyone who he makes eye contact with accidentally, which it happens all the time, he just smiles and nods his head at them, and just continues to do that all the way down because he's in a good mood. Thinking to himself that because he's happy, he's making other people happy because he's smiling at them, but everyone just thinks he's a weirdo.
I'm
Little
sure
bit.
there are some people. I'm sure there are some people that legitimately smile because some person just smiled at them.
Yep.
Okay.
There's a couple of folks.
Anyway, he gets back to the ship, climbs up the ladder. I do this one at a time. Stops at June's deck, thinks about knocking on the door, and then just goes back, goes up to show off his clothes to the galley to anybody who's in there. And it's just Nigel. Or is anyone else in the galley at this
I think
point?
that's Rebecca.
Or is that Rebecca?
Thomas has gone up to the deck. I'm assuming, because I believe that's everything we wanted to do. Thomas is going to start putting in, requesting clearance to start sort of pre-flight and getting ready to go.
I think,
Assuming there's nothing else we want to do, and I've completely forgotten.
I think Carter died from eating all that cheesecake.
Carter's
got a
fine.
cheese hangover.
He's just asleep.
Yeah.
Carter's not a morning person.
Is Rebecca in the galley? Is that who that is up there? That is Nigel?
No,
Yeah, Nigel's
Rebecca's
not
still
paying attention.
down.
Yeah.
She's probably in the
So
workshop.
Chester's like, look, my clothes came in. I think they look good. What do you think, Nigel?
Nigel picks his head up from the drone that's still on the table and looks at Chester and goes, Belter be nuts. Because he's seen a duster in a really weird outfit.
I think you'd look good in a set of these. And he just goes down the ladder and goes to his goes to his quarters and takes off the nice clothes and gets back in his coveralls.
Easy enough to do. Getting clearance to leave isn't a problem. There's probably a little bit of a wait before they would release you into the traffic pattern. So I guess, does anybody have anything else they wanted to do very, very quickly before the good news departs Tycho Station?
June just sends a message with the information that she was given from Carol. She sends a message to Alexander saying, "Thanks for the fun. See you around."
Okay.
It's signed with a strawberry.
No, it's not. But she does say it's true.
Get out of chat. Get out of there.
I mean, if you'd like to.
Nope.
Like I said, I'm here to follow the story where you guys take it.
I think we have a good plan.
Yeah, I think we're going.
Googly eyed for you. We'll put googly eyes in the torpedo, okay? When we put it out there a lot.
Excellent.
Rebecca's just like, you want me to do what with my brand new machine shop? What? Then of course, knowing Rebecca, she probably gets a kick out of it, and then there's just googly eyes everywhere.
Oh my gosh. We go outside the ship sometime, there's giant googly eyes on either side of the bow.
June goes down, finds Rebecca with googly-eyed wrench, and she's moving it back and forth with them so that the wrench looks like it's talking, and she's practicing her social skills.
Well, no, Mr. Spanner, I didn't think of it that way.
Mr. Spanner, why are you such a tool?
But yeah, you'll be able to depart Tycho without any issues, and you will. Well, let's see. Hold on, we were looking at it. So you're basically going a little further from Mars out to near Jupiter.
Because we're going to Ganymede, right?
What sort of speed? How many G's would you be looking to put on for your trip?
Standard thrust for.
I think 0.3 for
Point
the
three.
belters.
Yeah, I think.
0.3.
Because we have belters on board.
Yeah.
We need that as a bumper sticker. Belters on board.
Right next to the googly eyes.
Yes.
The bumper stickers are actually eyebrows for the googly eyes. is what's happening.
The good news on the side of the ship now has googly eyes instead of 2 O's.
There you go.
Perfect. I love it.
I can live with that. So it'll be at the normal 0.3. You'd be looking at about a 10-day trip. And then if there's, depending, somewhere in there that you want to kind of just cut and take whatever your plan is. But I think we are approaching the end of the normal window time-wise.
So
Yes.
we are ending approaching the end of the normal window. We've only gone for 2 hours. If people
Right.
have a little more time, and you think it would be good, if you think we could get through the torpedo thing, then that's fine. If you would rather, as a GM, end here and then have some time to figure out what the heck the torpedo thing is going to be, I'm good with ending here as well.
I think this is a good narrative. I've left you on a couple of cliffhangers on sessions, but I think this is a good spot to sort of draw the story to a close for this session.
Sweet.
So you'll have at least 10 days, possibly a little bit more of some downtime activities. I'm gonna say the churn is going to reset
Yay!
because you've dealt with kind of what was in front of you, and you've got a plan. There's still things going on, but you have an opportunity to catch your breath. And I think this is also a spot that I will go ahead and level everybody up again.
Yay.
Shopping level!
Well, our RP narrative stuff is still important.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, I
this
feel like
is-
I've leveled up as a player just
Yeah.
from the last 4 episodes to now. I think we're
Yep.
all a lot better at what's going on, and it's really fun.
You
I'm
get to
having-
know your characters a little bit. So I guess if we wanted to take a little time and do the leveling up stuff on stream, we could do that. Otherwise, we can sort of brush across the changes made at the start of the next session. And we
I'm
will
okay
go
with
from
doing
there.
it now just to kind of show what happens, because we did it sort of halfway at the end
Yep.
of a thing once, and if we just go through it now, because it'll only take 10-15 minutes if people have time for it. If people don't have time for it, we'll do it between. So it depends
No,
on
I'm-
everyone here.
I've got time. We can look at it.
Okay.
Let me find.
Let me go back to the level up
So-
thing.
Page.
Yeah, the leveling up. I found the PDF. Ha ha ha. The leveling up stuff is you gain 1 point that you can put anywhere, right? And then an ability. What is it?
I think you can either gain a focus or
Page
make a
45
focus
scroll.
better.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the first thing is everyone gets 3 fortune points.
Yep.
Until we're level 10.
You get
Okay,
a advancement to spend on one ability of your choice. You can't advance the same ability 2 levels in a row. So whatever you advanced last time, you have to do something different.
I think I did intelligence
Uh,
last time.
I think we wrote it all down in the.
I put mine in
Chat,
my
didn't we?
notes. Yeah.
Yeah, having
Yeah, I
Look at you being
keeping a record of
organised.
that. You can also choose a new focus. But again, you can't choose a focus for the same ability 2 levels in a row.
Okay.
You can choose a new novice talent for your character or gain a degree in a talent you already have.
Okay. So we're all level. We're level 3 now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So no defense or toughness thing. And DE, are you showing it on the stream?
I am showing what I'm doing on
Okay.
the stream, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we don't have to share with each other if we don't want to, but I'm gonna share. I'm expert in medic now. It's the talent I did. And we're allowed to focus this time? Because last time we couldn't do a focus, right? We could only do
No,
a
we
talent.
did.
Each
Yeah, you
each
could.
level you choose one new ability focus for your character. So you would have had a focus for level 2 as well. You just can't put a focus in the same ability.
Yeah,
each
the
time.
ability advancement is you have to spread it out. You can't just put it all into one.
Oh,
Well, no, it's the same thing for the ability focus. You get one at each level. Let me pull. Oh, because I need to level up Rebecca too. Now that I think about
Yeah.
it.
Says you cannot choose a new focus for the same ability 2 levels in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But and then the ability enhancement is you cannot advance the same ability 2 levels in a row.
Yeah, so you could theoretically put an ability increase and pick up a focus for the same ability, as long as it wasn't the ability that you took a focus in or you advanced at level 2.
Okay.
And if something got missed at level 2, feel free to add back to it. So like if you missed taking the focus at level 2, pick up 2 of them now.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to pick up 2 of them now. But I leveled up my intelligence last time. Does that mean I can't add something to a talent that's under the? Oh no, talents are different. Never mind. I'm done.
Yeah, you can put your ability increase anywhere except intelligence.
Okay, that's fine.
But you could take a intelligence focus, but you can't take 2 of them, even though since you're taking 2 focuses since you missed one, you can't put them both in the same one.
Okay, I understand.
So like let's say you had picked up another intelligence focus at level 2, so everything would have been kind of squirreled into one. You wouldn't be able to really touch intelligence at all this time. But if you took a dexterity focus at level 2, you could take 1 intelligence now, even though you can't put an ability point into it.
Because Chester has been feeling better about himself and everything, I'm putting 1 into willpower, which is what.
There you go.
Which I think he's becoming his own person a little bit more. I have to see what kind of willpower focuses there. Oh wait, no, I can't.
Okay.
No, I can put it in this one. I just can't put it into the one I did last time. Yes.
Yes. Yep.
I keep forgetting about these talents and how they actually work.
Each talent has 3 degrees of I'm trying to think of what the best way to describe it is. There's 3 levels to each talent: novice, expert, and master. So at each level, you can either take a new novice talent, or you can take a talent you have and bump it from novice to expert, or at another level from expert to master.
Okay. I just like in the actual using of the talents, I guess, because we always go like to the abilities, but I don't think we've ever actually used a talent, have we?
Well, the talent. Well, let's see. Let's look at intrigue novice. Well, it depends on what they do. So your intrigue novice, or your novice intrigue talent, you would have chosen one of the following communication focuses: deception, etiquette, or seduction. If you fail a communication test with your chosen focus, you can re-roll it but have to keep the result. So that one just hasn't come up yet.
Right. Okay.
But if you bump that one up to expert, you keep, I believe, what you get at novice. But then you can also, if the focus you chose in the novice degree is considered a tangential focus during an investigation, you ignore the +2 increase to the TN. So again, it's situational.
Okay.
And I'm going to take 2 focuses because I didn't take an extra focus last time because I thought it was a focus or a talent.
No, I'm looking right here in the chat. You raised intelligence, added improvisation talent, and seeing focus.
Oh, I just never put it in there.
Is anyone else's notes not saving?
Yeah, the note on my character.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it's not. There's no save option for me.
I can't put it in intelligence anyway because that's what I leveled up last time. What do you got? I'm going to give him, I think, a dexterity focus from his ladder practice. I'm going to give him...
Okay, when you type something in the notes section at the bar that opens up, or that's up at the top as you start typing,
save.
the very, very far right-hand one is save.
Yeah, it's save. It looks like a download, but it's save.
You know what? Communication. Communication is probably more useful, but We have June. I don't need it. Like, I'm doing things that are silly, but I'm trying to full, like, keep it in with the RP of what Chester's been doing. And it's kind of fun.
Yeah, the system, I think, supports that. It's not as much like you can very much go into the nuts and bolts of things and being like, I want to be the very, very best medic that I can, and everything you do kind of makes you, the best medic that you can possibly be. But I like the fact that you can just like, hey, I'm a person, and how does the person like change? Well, what's come up in this last little bit that I want to be working on, or that would have changed who I am?
So that note still won't save, but I increased my intelligence. I added self-discipline to willpower, and I am now an expert in affluence.
Wow.
I'm even richer.
Oh man.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Increase income.
So I added acrobatics to dexterity. I have an extra point in willpower. And then I'm an expert medic now, which means if I treat a patient, I can alleviate the effects of exhausted, fatigue, injured, or wounded conditions. To beat an advanced TN 11 test, with each roll taking 1 minute. So basically, if I succeed, the patient ignores the effects of those conditions for 1d6 hours. The conditions are still present, however, and the effects return when the duration ends, or if any of the conditions are worsened, such as an injured character becoming wounded, for example. So basically, I can help people ignore things for an hour like, if someone's dying, I can make them not. I think? No, I can't fix dying. I can alleviate a wounded condition.
Let's see, medic.
I'm looking at it in the system itself.
Mm-hmm. Conditions.
I can save a patient from dying with novice. Expert lets me actually kind of heal in battlefield stuff, basically. So like if someone takes an injury or a wound, I can fix it for a while. Which I think is going to be really useful. I'm the cleric! Sort of.
And I am interested to hear from chat while you guys work on this, what they think is afoot.
Yeah, chat, if you want to throw some...
I'm always down to hear theories, because sometimes you guys are more creative than I am.
Crowdsourcing
not
is
sometimes,
important.
always. In the directions that you guys go. So,
just for everyone's knowledge, I upped Nigel's intelligence, added cryptography, and increased hacking to expert.
Ooh.
there is not a lock on this ship.
There already
that will
wasn't.
keep you out.
At what
Well, I
level
mean, there
of
was a
income
chance before.
can
I
I
feel
buy
like that-
my own ship?
Well, I mean, you can't hack a mechanical lock, so there's that.
Or
It's true.
or a shotgun with a string attached to the door handle.
Yes.
So I have upped dexterity to 4. I have gained the initiative focus, and also I've upped my piloting talent to expert.
Nice.
Where did you say the save button was?
It should be up at the top where the formatting options are, and then all the way to the right. Looks like a down arrow. Yeah. Doesn't look like the normal save icon. But I guess it makes sense because there's probably a lot of people out there that don't know what that icon is.
Yeah.
Other than the save icon. And now I feel old.
Like I clicked on that and it still won't say, it won't update the
Yeah, it won't.
information.
Yeah, it won't.
The sheet updates, but the notes don't save.
Yeah.
I've
I
run into that
can't-
before, but I don't know what I did about it.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if there's a permissions thing that's funky. But it shouldn't let us write anything if that permission is. I don't know. Because the note I have says, has duffel bag, out back, or bug out bag with food, medical supplies, and shotgun. I have lost connection to the server.
Yep, I'm fiddling with.
Anyway,
Okay.
I think this is a good point to close it down. We can fiddle
Wait.
afterwards. Oh wait,
Yep.
oh no, that's right. You didn't do yours yet. I am sorry. I thought you
Why?
had started yours. And then
I did. I was making a note on my personal stuff.
just
Of
put it
what
in the
it was.
tabletop chat, I think.
Well, I'm still putting it in. I have a personal note. I have two separate ones. I've got June's notes and then one about personalities. Okay. So I upped communication to 4. I added the bargaining focus, and attractive is up to expert.
Nope, sorry.
So basically you leveled up and now you're even hotter.
Pretty much. And I'm even better at bargaining.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean those kind of go hand in hand, I think. At least with June's particular skill set. No, you see, you want to buy me dinner.
That's right. Except that's persuasion, which I thought I was going to do. And then I was like, no, I need bargaining. She bargains more than she persuades.
Mhm.
I could see those kind of going, depending on the situation, using both or using either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
well,
think
and it does the same thing. It's a focus,
Mm, yeah.
but she's bargaining most of the time.
and considering that that's kind of been her career, you'd think she'd have that
Yeah.
anyway, so.
Yeah.
I just feel like Jude's gonna go down the whole communication tree and just get all of the focuses for communication as we continue the game.
Gonna go
Oh, well-
from communications to being sort of like mind control.
Yeah, basically.
Eventually, probably, but I can't do it next time. I can't put a focus or
Yeah, I
a
know.
point into it. So.
I know.
That's fine. I remember last time I was like, I have a 0 in fighting. I'm gonna up that one.
Hmm. Well, and it makes sense because you took that drone out.
Yeah.
Cold-blooded robot killer. Anyway,
Wouldn't that be
everyone.
accuracy rather than fighting, but
I'm pushing the button.
Oh, whoops. Whoopsie.